Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Marvelous Adelaja, and today I'm going to be your facilitator for the creative writing masterclass session. So this is somewhat weird because I was actually expecting someone to be the moderator for the session, but then it's fine. I'm going to wait for about 5 minutes to allow as much participants as are interested to get in. So as you're coming in, I appreciate if you mute your mics. Yes, so like I said earlier on, I'll just wait for 5 minutes so that more persons would be able to join the class with us. So if you don't mind, I'd just like to know more about the persons that I will be taking the creative writing masterclass with. So, if you don't mind, anybody can just choose to unmute themselves and introduce themselves.
This is Dr. Chukwudi Okoye from Oka, Anambra State. Glad to be here.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Chukwudi from Anambra State. For persons that don't know, Anambra is actually a state in Nigeria, in West Africa. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
So yes, another person.
Okay, I'll go. Hi, I'm Deborah and I'm from Lesotho, Deborah Marie and from Lesotho. Pleasure meeting you, Marvelous.
Oh, hi, Deborah. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. I'm trying to recall where Lesotho is. I think it's somewhere around maybe that South Africa / Zimbabwe, if I'm correct.
Yes, it's inside South Africa. It's enclosed by South Africa.
Oh, okay then. Thank you very much. I recall reading a novel when I was younger, and it was set in Lesotho. Yes, it was set in Lesotho. And I remember I was so stunned on where Lesotho was. And now, yes, so thank you very much. So nice to hear you.
Okay, hi everyone. So sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lovette Otegbola. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm a dance choreographer.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! It's a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Oh my! I'm a writer, and so I'm very I don't know the word. I'm hearing dance choreographer for the first time. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lovette. A very huge pleasure to meet you. I think that Nwando Alai Yonde. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. I think you wanted to speak, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, my name is Nwando Alai Yonde. I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm into stage productions, radio drama, and I write. So I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. That's where I'm based.
Oh, that's where you're based, but that's not where you're from.
No.
Yeah. And thank you very much for the introduction. Alayonde. I'll try to hard to pronounce that right.
Okay, I can go next. Hi.
Yes.
My name is Rania, and I'm from Egypt, Cairo. Excuse me for the color. The sun is in my face, so it's making me orange. I'm not that orange. And what I do is I do art therapy, and I'm a visual artist, and I'm studying some theater nowadays.
Oh, okay then. Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you, Rania. And hearing that, yes, hearing that you're from Cairo, Egypt, I recall that my first introduction to Cairo, Egypt was actually in the barber's shop. He had this magazine and they wrote Cairo as the largest city in Africa. And I remember arguing with my dad that no, it's Lagos. So where is Cairo? And he was like, oh, it's actually Cairo. So that was the first time I got to know. I'm not West Africa, sorry, Africa. Yeah, that was the first time I got to know Cairo. So it's a pleasure that Global Arts in Medicine Fellowship has brought me finally to meet someone from Cairo. It's a pleasure to meet you, Rania.
My pleasure.
Yes. So I think I'm just going to begin now. I think that Chimemlum Mbadima has been trying to speak, but somehow we can't just get to hear you. And I'm so sorry, we have just 1 hour for this meeting. So I'll begin. My name is Marvelous Adelaja. I do think that if you read through the introduction for the speakers, you'd have gotten to know me. So I'm a writer. I'm a lover of literature and the essence of language. I do look forward to becoming a novelist and with time a speaker. But in my spare time, I'm a 200 level medical student at the University of Ibadan. It's a pleasure to be taking the Creative Writing Masterclass with you today. So what you need, yes, Festus Moses, of course, the pleasure. What you need for this masterclass. So first off, let me introduce what the masterclass is. The masterclass is when somebody who is a fellow, who is a current fellow, so I'm in the same stage as everyone here is, I'm also a fellow, I'm also learning, but then you opt to, take up a session. Our sessions are normally on Sundays, but on Saturday you opt to, just facilitate a session. So that's what I opted to do. I opted to do the creative writing masterclass session. So that's it. So what you need for this session are, you need a piece of paper. So if you're like me, you would actually use an A4 paper. I'm very used to writing on paper that does not have lines, because I do believe that when you write on paper where there are no lines, it doesn't restrict your artistic nature. But when there are lines, I always feel like, oh, I'm being restricted to what I'm going to write. But then that's choice. If you're someone who wants to use a book, it's fine. Just get a piece of paper. You need a pen. And of course, you need your heart, because writing is always expression. And in writing, you always want to express what is true. And for you to express what is true, you must express what is from your heart. So privacy alert, because this is a creative writing masterclass for health in medicine, health and wellness section, there's going to be a reading out aloud. So of course, because I said we're going to be writing from our hearts, we're going to be writing what is true. You might decide to change your name on your Zoom, the Zoom name. You can decide to change your name to, protect your anonymity if you would prefer that, because we're going to be reading out aloud the stories that we are going to write. So I hope everyone is ready with a piece of paper and a pen. Because I'm sharing from my phone, I can't get to see anyone's face. But then I appreciate if I just get a yes as a response, that persons are already gotten their piece of paper, they've gotten their pens, and they are in a discussion with their heart to let their heart out. So just a yes in the chat box. Okay, more yeses. I can see 2 already. Okay, thank you. 3rd yes. At least let's get to, okay. We are 31. Let's get to like maybe 8. Okay, yes, I have, yes. Well, thank you so much. I request, yes, thank you. So memory writing for wellness. Let me give a brief introduction into creative writing. I've seen that persons here are from choreography, dancing, visual arts, radio production. So creative writing is very broad, but then creative writing is just name, writing creatively. And writing creatively is, for most writers, it's a way of expressing your thoughts, expressing your ideas. It doesn't necessarily have to be fiction all the time. So I think that's one thing people always look at. They look at creative writing as a form of fiction. And I want to promise you, as writers, we always say fiction is telling the truth using a lie. So fiction in itself is also the truth, but creative writing is not just limited to fiction. There's creative writing, non-fiction. There are essays, there are autobiographies that we call creative writing. And then there's also the fiction aspect, where if in the normal art classes, they'll tell you prose, poetry, drama, and things like that. So all those ones are under creative writing. But today we are going to be doing memory writing. I picked memory writing because memory writing seems to be the best for a health and wellness class. Like I mentioned earlier, there's prose, there's poetry, there's drama, and all of that. Memory writing, actually, you can choose to express yourself through poetry. You can choose to express yourself by writing out a stage drama. You can choose to express yourself through fiction, through essays, but it is from your memory. So in fiction writing, sometimes, you know, when you want to begin fiction writing someone and then you write that up, but for memory writing, you're not imagining. You're going back into this is what you're going to, where you're going to write it. If you want to write it through poetry, that's fine. If you want to write it as a short essay, that's fine. If you want to write it as a poem, that's fine. The way you want to write it. So memory writing is actually deducted from memoirs. Memoirs are sort of, they are in between autobiographies. They are in between autobiographies, but they are not fully autobiographies. A memoir is written by a writer who thinks back and picks up a particular aspect of their life and decides to build a story structure from that aspect of their life. So there's a particular writer that is coming to my mind, but I've forgotten her name, but a memoir is actually based on a relationship with her father. She had a father who was distant all her life. I think she got to relate to her father at the age of 31. So 31 years without a father, and then someone bursts into your life and say, oh, I'm your dad. So she wrote a memoir, you know, just discussing her relationship with her father, how she viewed her father. And the thing about writing memoirs is the fact that they transform you. As writers, we always talk about empathy for the characters. In writing this memoir, she had to interview her father. In interviewing her father, she was able to see beyond Daddy was in prison for 31 years and he didn't care. Okay, I'm going to try. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to speak slower. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to speak slower. So like I said, I was talking about memoirs. I was saying that memoirs are actually taken from, you're welcome. Memoirs are taken from a particular aspect of your life. I gave an example of a writer whose name is actually slipping through my mind. She wrote a memoir based on her relationship with her father. She had a father who was distant for 31 years, and later on they met, and she now created a memoir from him. She was not writing about her whole life, you know, she was only writing about that particular incident. And that is how I wanted us to, you know, take this memory writing. We're not going to write about the whole of our lives, you know. Just think of one particular incident that just, it doesn't have to be a very huge transformation, but then you know that this incident was one of those things, one of those stones, you know, that formed the building you are right now. So if you would see it that way. So I was giving an example of memoir. And for you to write stories like that, I want you to approach writing with truthfulness. You know, there's this old thing about when people look at storybooks, we see it as, oh, they just imagine something and they put it there. The process of imagining is a truthful process because it's coming from your heart. And the very moment you decide that, you begin to look at fiction, not just from a point of someone is telling a lie, but realizing that someone has a truth, they have an idea, and they're just making up, you know, they're making up the setting, the plots to be able to sell that idea to you. The very moment you look at fiction in that manner, I promise you literature will change. Literature will change for you. It's like when someone reads a book like Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. It's very imaginative. Chinua Achebe was talking about things that had never happened in his time. But then when you look at it from the aspect of, it was telling the truth of persons it was not opportune to meet, then the story comes higher for you, and then you begin to see a bigger picture in it. So the form and style may not necessarily be needed for this memory writing class, because I think that it would be too formalistic for this. I just want us to express ourselves. That's it. But form and style basically is talking about like maybe your settings, that's the place, description of yourself, or description of whoever is going to be in that story. Is talking about the choice of language. So we have first person point of view, second person point of view, third person point of view. First person point of view is like I went there and I saw him. Second person point of view, which is something I really like. I really like second person point of view. It's like you went there, you saw him, you decided not to greet him. Now, when you use something like that, the you went there may actually be talking about another person, or it can also be talking about you. It's like as if you're detaching yourself from your right, and then you are telling yourself that you went there, you saw this person, you decided not to be the person. And then there's a third person point of view, which is actually divided into two. We have omniscient and limited. But then I'm not going to talk much about them. So many things that we'll need them for this class. I do hope that everyone is getting me. I'm still fast. Okay. I'm going to try and over try to speak more slowly. The influence of memory writing. First is expression. Writing is all about expressing. Art itself is expression. For choreographers, they will tell you that they find expression in the moves, in the dance moves. They find expression in trying to rhythm their dance moves to the beats of the music. Yes, Deborah M, thank you. Yes, second person is like a bird. People will tell you that someone who is a photographer will tell you that when he or she sees a picture, he just sees something that he or she can express through that particular picture, a particular theme that they want to express through that picture. The same thing is writing. Writing always seeks to express. And that is why writing influences generations. You would realize that for every generation, there were writers who, I like to call them, who overshadowed that generation. And so their writings, the expression through the written word was actually something that went through that whole generation. So Chinua Achebe, the past. In Nigeria, I would say Ngozi, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I think someone in America who is an Indian would say, and lived maybe in the 90s, would make mention of Salman Rushdie. An adult, and someone who's an adult now, we talk about someone like maybe Margaret Atwood, for instance, or Joyce Carol Oates. And Joyce Carol Oates was influenced by Lewis Carroll. So you get writing is always an expression, and with that expression, there would be influence. What we want for this memory writing, I hope I'm speaking slowly now. Please, I would love to ask. I hope I'm speaking more slowly. And perhaps just a response in the chat. Okay, yes, thank you very much. So the influence of memory writing, what we want to do this time, we want to recollect. I should try to speak more slowly. Okay, then. We want to recollect. We want to retrace till you find that moment or one of those moments. When you think back to when you were 20, something must have happened. Perhaps for you, it happened earlier when you were 17. Some persons will begin to tell you, oh, at the age of 16, I knew something happened. And because of that thing that happened, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life. And when you now reach out to that person at the age of 31, the death of a loved one would make them say, oh, I thought it was this direction, but I think I'm going the other way. That moment, something happened, something beautiful. And what we want to do with memory writing is write about that thing that built up to that moment. So that's why I said moment, one of those moments, like I made mention earlier, it doesn't have to be a very big thing like the death of someone, you know, it may just be a statement someone made. And I mean, lots of persons have been telling you these statements, but the very moment this person made statement, oh, you're not beautiful. You could look at this person in the eye and say, I don't care about your perspective. That moment. And because of that incident that happened all through your life, even unconsciously, you can face criticism so boldly. So it's those moments that I want you to recollect. I want you to retrace. And that's what we're doing with memory writing. And for moments that are from the, and moments don't have to be all the time negative, because I think that Though, you know, there's always this propaganda that sad things sell, bitter things sell, which is very much true. But we should also embrace the fact that our moments can also be joy, positivity. You thought someone was going to die. He was on the sick bed, and somehow he regained life, and you could just see life in a new way. Or perhaps maybe you're like me, who is a student who was thinking, oh my God, if you have this special vase, flower vase. It's not really special like that, but then it's a flower vase, and you know that, oh, it's a flower vase in the room, and you actually thought this flower vase was going to fall, and then it did not fall. I mean, it fell, but it did not break. And can you imagine that joy, that relief, that quick relief, like, God, thank you, this thing did not break. So that's what I'm talking about, to find that moment, or one of those moments. So we're going to choose, I mean, health and wellness is all about healing, right? And when we heal, sometimes we choose to let go. Not all the time, but sometimes we choose to let go. And in this class, we are going to be letting go with written words. So like I said earlier, it's time now for you to get your pen and to get your heart and to get your book, a piece of paper ready. You're going to write out a memory. Everything here, I think the first line could be one of God's love or the choice to forgive. It's just an option. Yours could be beyond that. Yours could be the crumbling of your country, the crumbling of a family, and yours could be the building of a family. It's anything. Who do you remember in that story? And when do you remember it taking place? What do you remember? Like I said earlier on, because this is memory writing, I'm not going to be specific on the style. If you want to write it as a poem, please feel free. If you want to write it as a letter, please feel free. If you want to write it as, you know, an essay, please feel free. The thing is just, we should remember that we are seeking for memory and expression. That's what this class is about, memory and expression. So I'm going to be giving, it's between 100 to 250 words should be fine. But the thing is, we're going to come back to class and we're going to be reading out aloud. We are going to come back to class and we're going to be reading out aloud what we have written. That's why I said earlier on that for the sake of anonymity, if you want to please change your name, do feel free to change your name right now. So I'm wondering, it's in between 50 to 100 words. I don't really want it to be that much. You know, like I said earlier, specific, something very specific. Okay, Hioma Okorie, please could you mute yourself? I mean, I would like chat box 10 to 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Is that okay for everyone? So like I said, I would like if in the comments, in the chat box, we respond 10 to 15 minutes to write out this. Is it okay for everyone? Maybe a yes or a no. So I know how to adjust it. Okay, I've seen one yes. Okay, 10 is fine. Okay. Oh, you write in a notebook and then you read from the notebook. I know, I don't want it to be digital. I don't want it. That's why I told a pen and a paper. You find greater expression there. Don't write the chat box. It's very short. The width is short, so you might find it very limited. You know, pressing enter and looking for where Q is or looking for where R is, or typing partner. Okay, I've seen 4 responses. Please, could we respond? Please, could we respond? How short? 50 to 100 words are fine. If you can do 150 and you know you can read it quickly, then why not? We're seeking for expression. Expression is key here. Okay, then I think I'll go for 12 minutes, but then please don't put your mind. Okay, 50 to 100 words. Yes, to 150. Okay, 150 is the maximum limit because I don't want it to be too long. So at least lots of persons will get time to read. how much time, 10 to 15 minutes. In the next 15 minutes, I would take it up that we should begin reading. I have just 1 hour for this class. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. So I think we just have 1 more minute remaining. So in the comment section, because like I said earlier on, everybody, as much persons as time would allow me, would be reading out loud what they have written. In the comment section, please can we take numbers? Someone writes number 1, number 2. So the person that's number 1 is going to read it first. The person that writes number 2 is going to read second. The person that writes number 3 is going to read third. So please, so that it will save time. Okay, so Dr. Chukudi has written number 1. More persons. Two people are taking. Okay. Please, the next person should take number 5 because 2 persons came in with number 2. So Chinemelu will take number 3, Awele number 4. So the next person number 5. Thank you, Awele. So the next person, please. So yes, on the screen right now, Donald from number 4 to 6, no problem. On the screen right now is my own, reading out loud session. Okay, not a direct message, please, not a direct message. But there's already, okay then, thank you very much. So number one, please, you just have like 2 minutes to read so that as much persons would have the opportunity to read. If you want to, you can introduce yourself. And that's just your name, or if you don't want to, it's fine. So the first person, please.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay, it's raining here, so, and I'm sorry for the lights. It's a bit dark here. Okay, apart from the memory writing, I chose exercise. The exercise I chose was for, well, I could call it a letter to my cousin who passed away in 2006. He was a patient of sickle cell. So we lost him in 2006. So the next few words will be the words I've written for him. It goes like this: Ugo, my protection boy. Never did I know it would hurt still. It's been a journey since October 2006. You were closer than a brother. You saw so much in me. So I guess that's why you looked out for me all the time. I miss you so much. Our trips during our younger years remain evergreen. Protection boy, that's what we called you. Everybody's best cousin. Yet you left too quickly and quietly, differently from how you lived. You were the life of the party, cracking everybody up with top-notch stories. I miss you. Still hurts. You didn't get to see me married, but I know you're happy for me, happy and proud like you always were for me. See you down the road, dear brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doctor. This is quite emotional. Thank you so much for deciding to share your story with us. Thank you so much. I would appreciate if persons write in the comment section how they felt listening to him reading the letter, talking about a cousin, who passed on and will not get to see him succeed. May his soul rest in peace. Yes. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So the second person, Chinemelu Mbadima. Chinemelu Mbadima. This is on team.
So can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. I have been trying to speak before, but I'm glad you all can hear me now. I will say what I've written is a fond memory of a friend. And my writing goes like this. My fond friend on a flight. It was a trip to Ghana, a fond memory, I would say. Maybe because it was my first time of being on an airplane. I almost missed my flight, but I remember mostly my encounter with Ellie. I sat beside you on the flight from Lagos to Accra. I started a conversation because I needed guidance with my inquiry to visit the University of Ghana. Surprisingly, you decided to forego your programs and plans for the day and went with me to the University of Ghana. Early, you were there for me and with me all through. My first memory of visiting Ghana was pleasant because of your presence. Thank you so much for that. So that is all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. The line that reached out to me was when you said, my first memory of Ghana was pleasant because of your presence. I think that line stood out. Pleasant because of your presence.
Thank you.
You're really welcome. You're really welcome. I'm not sure. I don't know if there are any Ghanaians in the house, but I would like to inform you that Chinemelu Mbadima's first, his first presence in Ghana was a pleasure because of the presence of the Ghanaian. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think I'll go with Mbadima because pronouncing Chinemelu.
That's all right.
Thank you so much.
That's all right. I totally agree with you. Thank you.
So the next person, please. Number 3, that's Yinka Enahoro. Yes, Yinka Enahoro.
Hello. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay, so my memory is one of my childhood with my dad. Now, over the years, my dad and I had quite a rocky relationship. But I chose to, there was at some point in time, a lot of unforgiveness in my heart towards him, but that has gone. But when I was thinking about what to write, I wanted to share this. This was a wonderful time. I think I was about 10 or so. So here it goes. Daddy was a busy man. He was in the military, the Nigerian Air Force. He always looked resplendent in his uniform. And when he got home, my sisters and I were always excited. He was, however, a busy man. And the times we did see him were very short, which made us all a bit glum. Daddy, however, kept Sundays free for us. And one of my fondest memories was all of us piling into our car and going on drives on the outskirts of the city. Those rides were filled with laughter and fresh air because we didn't have an air condition. Rides of freedom, there's no light here. So enjoying the sights around us and just spending time with Daddy. Things changed, we grew older, but this memory I still cherish till today. That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Yinka Enahoro, for that.
You're welcome.
Yes, I do love the description you gave to the rides. I enjoy the contrast between Daddy was a very busy person, but he kept Sundays free for us. He did something to me. And I do love the contrast when you said rights of freedom. That felt so nice. And you saying that you had fresh hair rather than air conditioning. Yes. I think that's you. You're someone who's very perceptive, for you to have perceived the difference so quickly during your younger years. Thank you very much, Yinka.
You're welcome.
As many
Thank
persons
you.
are enjoying. Yes,
Thank
as
you.
many persons are enjoying. Please do write it down. Yes. So I'll be moving on to the next person. I have Awele Ikem. So Awele Ikem, please can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay. Can we hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'll just go ahead. I don't want to introduce my work. I just want everybody to interpret whatever they wish to interpret out of it. Okay. So, as a child, I remember thinking the future will be so beautiful. I didn't know as you grow up, there are struggles and obstacles. As time went on, I gave up some dreams due to the various challenges I experienced. As I grew older, colors escaped me. Life is not as colorful as you dream it. Trust is gone. Yes, trust is gone. Love is less. You start teaching yourself how to love again and how to accept people the way they are. This is the human in us as we climb the ladder of life. Oh yes, life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. The fact that you left your interpretation open to anyone and everyone, it seems very, I do not know the word, very lively, like the way life comes at us and then tells you to give interpretation to what you want. And the line that stood out for me was when you said, you stop seeing colors because life is not colorful. That line was really nice. Thank you very much for choosing to share your writing, please. The next person, please. The next person, Donald Okerulu.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm going now. Because of the sudden nature of this exercise, I am short of words to bring into picture the memories I most cherished and the ones I abhorred. However, I have observed lately that my patients in the ward have occupied a greater percentage of my thoughts and daily activities. Just as I'm about to step out to see a patient whom my team admitted yesterday unconscious with multiple episodes of seizures. She was said to have abandoned her medication for 2 weeks, resorting to herbal concoctions prescribed by unknown medicine dealers. Why do Nigerians patronize patent medicine dealers, the ones we call chemists, roadside medicine dealers, traditional herbalists, only to present a moribund state to doctors in the hospital to perform magic? Prevention, they say, is better than cure. Early presentation yields excellent prognosis. Let us all be intentional with our health. In a few days, we'll be entering into the 9th month. Have you had your annual health checkups? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The comparison with the Western, with normal medicine from the prescribed medicine from herbal concoction. The comparison you gave was really beautiful. You didn't have to introduce yourself as a medical doctor. The introduction of you having a patient, sort of gave that introduction for us already. I do love the piece. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think the next person, please. So there's this information, Arts and Medicine is saying that if you don't mind, if you love to share the creative writings, then please, you could, you could share it with them and then they'll share it with the public audience. So thank you so much, Donald. I'll be going now to Akinyemi Barakat Ayomide.
Good everyone.
Hi.
So, it's a great it's like this. It's happened
your voice is shaking. It's shaking. Yes, it's breaking. We can't hear you clearly. Hello? Hello? I don't think she's on the call because I can't hear her. So I just go to Ihwoma Okore. So Ihwoma Okore, please can you unmute your mic?
Okay, good evening. Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Okay, mine is a story. I'll just go through it quickly. While walking down the road on a bright Sunday morning, I came across this old friend who had maligned and talked me down some years back. That day was really a bad day for commuters, as tricycle riders had gone on strike because of the failure of the leaders to heed to their requests. There were so many pedestrians on the road. This is because the tricycle seemed like the major means of transportation. Standing under the scorching sun, looking tired and worn out with her 2 kids standing beside her, she was practically waving at every vehicle, pleading for a lift. As soon as I saw her, I drove past her like a cheetah in search of a prey, recalling all that she had done. While still reminiscing on what she had done to me, a still gentle voice nudged me to go back because of her kids. Immediately, I turned. As soon as I approached her, I lowered my window. And when she saw me, she looked at me with a mixture of surprise and tears. At that point, my heart melted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we say that's very akin to please, everyone, please comment in section box how your feelings about everybody's writing, please. So, Lovette Otegola, please, you can unmute yourself now.
Hi, can everybody hear me? I hope I'm not breaking. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
The title of my work is Almost 13. Here goes. I remembered the night before. I wasn't sure how long this was going to last. At first, I was not afraid. I had prepared for this mentally, but nothing prepared me for the pain ahead. Then I looked at the time, 11 p.m. Wow, I thought. Questions flooded my mind, but I tried to stay calm. Your dad tried to be supportive. As the night progressed, he fell asleep. Low at support. While I tried to bear the pain that struck every 7 minutes, then the vomiting started. I thought I would almost lose my intestines. Suddenly, it stopped, as sudden as it started. I counted the minutes into hours. Fear, pain, a brave heart. Then the race to the hospital began. I told myself the woman in the next room would not hear my voice, but I don't remember if I screamed, but by 10:54 a.m., you popped out, screaming your lungs out. Welcome to the world, my handsome. In 2 weeks, you'll be 13 years. I still remember how beautiful you looked in my eyes. I remember the pain, but I remember the joy of birthing you more. I love you, son. Love, mommy.
Oh, Oh, well, that's so nice. That's so nice. I spent the first minute listening. When you said almost 13, I thought you wanted to describe, your birthday when you were turning 13. And I could relate to you looking at the time and think maybe to be 12 soon. And then to hear that it was actually for your son that's almost 13. I think that you should present it to him at the birthday gift also. You should maybe wrap it around and then present because it was so nice. Like the ending just got me. The ending got me, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it about the ending got me, to be honest. I suppose more than it's very beautiful. Thank you so much, Lovett. Thank you so much. I'll be going to the next person now. I think the next person is Ayomide Ogun Yo Mobo. I think that's the pronunciation. Yo Mobo. Yes, Ayomide, over to you now.
It's a Guyombo actually. Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Mine is a story too. Can you hear me, please? Okay, mine is
Yes,
a story too. And okay, so I'll be reading it now. As I held the little picture only the size of my palm, I recall 19 years ago how my whole family thronged down the stairs some minutes after dinner, a little late into the night. The moon has crept out of hiding a while ago. I ran my little 4-year feet. I ran as my little 4-year feet could carry me down the now crimson wooden stairs. I saw my father laid on the floor. He was guided by a neighbor right under the corridor lights. He had some white stuff all over his mouth as he cared fondly. I really couldn't relate this scene to any of the movies I've watched, but the terrific look on the faces of my elderly 5 sisters and mother told me something was wrong, but I was sure he's a strong man. He was rushed into the car to an hospital, but he never came back home. You look like him, I heard my mother said as I slipped the portrait back into the album. Thank you. So that's it.
Thank you very
Hello.
much. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much. The terrific look on my elderly 5 sisters and my mother's face told me something was wrong, but I thought he was a strong man and he didn't come back. That line was very poignant, very poignant. Thank you. May his soul rest in peace. And of course, may beyond his reflection, his values reflect in you also. Thank you, Ayomide. So the next, you're welcome. Next person is Nwando Alayonde.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let me just quickly go into this. You came knocking 2 nights earlier, and wildly you cramped at my hip. Those wild pains hit me at the back of my head and shot through my legs, seizing my breath and letting me go at the same time. Cringing in pain for 24 hours and counting. My progression was set to be good and steady. It would seem you were ready, then suddenly, silence, save for your rapid heartbeats. The last I recall was a flash, doors busting open, rays of light, then darkness, pitch darkness, silence. Then I felt a sudden jolt. My sight blurred and my eyes hurt. But then you were there beside me. I felt a sharp pain, just slight. But then, looking at you, the pain all went away. Though you came 2 days earlier, you came as my first birthday gift, Ebonlua, my love, my pride.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You came knocking at my door 2 days early, got me. It seems like you was, everything was steady. It seemed you were ready. Then silence. I think that the way you were able to punctuate each sentence, darkness, full stop, pitch darkness, full stop, silence, full stop, was really nice. It really made it feel real. Thank you so much, Mom. Thank you so much. The next person is Dantella Gehan Ayob. Please come and write in the comment section how you felt about that nice speech. Please can you write?
Hi.
Dantella. Hi.
Okay. Jihan.
Yes.
From Egypt. Okay.
Okay.
I am a fine art artist. Okay, I start. I remember my father was a handsome man. His skin color was like mine. I remember very well the day of your death. It was your last vision, as usual, quite smiling, like a sleeping angel. You left me from 20 years ago. You took a part of my soul with you and left a part of yours in my heart. This part is what I live by now, consulting him, asking him, talk to him. I reach out to him so I can finish the road with dreaming and planning together. My father, I taught my children as you taught me. I use art to do what we dream together, to change the world and help people get to know themselves. I hope you're watching in your place and proud of me. We meeting a while or a years to end my talk today and have another talk with you in one day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think you read something with a touch of romance. Thank you very much for highlighting your stories well. You said that he left a part of you in my heart. This part is what I live now. That sounded really nice. Thank you very much, Dantella. So
thank you.
We are actually all, you're welcome. We're actually coming to the close of the program, but there's still a chance for number 14 and number 15. So if you'd love to read your story out or you're writing out number 14, number 15, please write it down in the comment section. But for now, Akiyemi Barakat, please can you retry? Perhaps the connection is better now.
A friend of mine, a boy, like his name was Ayomi. Yes, he came to me telling me, "Wow, Barakat, I saw it. You're the best student overall." I was so happy. Then the other friend started subconsciously, how can it be? It can't be a Jerry. How can it be a wow? But she didn't know that she said anything. I felt sad because she was my most trusted friend then. But glory be to God, during the ceremony, I was actually the best student. Due to sadness, it has encouraged me since then to always keep up being the best academically. I remember, although I've forgiven her, but I was that day. Whenever I tried to give up, I always make a sacrifice and I was not give up.
Thank you very much. I was able to pick words out. Your piece talked about you having to, measure the grit to continue doing academically well. And you made mention of, I've forgiven her, but I still remember her. And her words hurt me that day. I think that it just revolved around that, forgiving persons, but then going the extra mile to move on from those words. And that was what you did. Cheers to you, doing very well academically. We have to see more of that. Thank you very much, Ayomide. Let me check the chat if there's any other person that would want to read. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome, Akin. So if there's any other person that wants to read, please could you just write number 14 or number 15? And just in case you didn't know, on the screen is actually my writing. I don't know, maybe I should read it out loud. So I read out loud. I remember the first teacher I had.
No, she was the second teacher. I was a nursery 2 student, and she, my teacher. A tall, slim woman, she had the color of my skin. She also had my smile, a warm, cherry straight line from 2 pink lips. I thought she was beautiful. And because she looked like me, I thought I was beautiful too. We had an open day. After this day, when parents and teachers met to discuss students' welfare, I'll be moving to a new class. As I walked toward the class door with my dad, I turned to her and whispered, "You're beautiful, Miss Bossett." She threw her head back. Her jaw lifted as her chest throbbed of dismayed laughter. With this skin, I'm just black, not beautiful. Black. The words would haunt me for a long while. Black, not beautiful, just black. So yes, thank you very much. That was my reading out loud. I didn't give it a title. Thank you very much. I've seen a post on Black is Beautiful, awesome kid. Thank you very much. Yeah, honestly, the key to memory expert and memory writing. And of course, I do appreciate the fact that every person we've listened to talked from memory. And that's the first step to writing. That's the first step to expression. That's the first step to art. Art is based in its truth. I have no idea where Ms. Buffer is. I left the school when I was in primary 3, I think, so I have no idea where she is. But then thank you very much, everyone. I'll be coming to the end of this class. It was supposed to actually be an hour class, but now it's 1 hour, 10 minutes. Thank you to the... So yes, I am a writer. I won last year the Gold Award for the Commonwealth Short Story, the Queen's Commonwealth Short Story Prize and the UNESCO World Tales Competition. So if you want to check out my writings, on Instagram, I'm Adelaja Marvelous, Facebook, Marvelous Adelaja. And if you just want to reach out, of course, that's my email. Do feel free to reach out. I want to say thank you to the 42 participants who believed in a fellow, yes, pun intended, a fellow like them, and who have decided to engage with me in this session today. Thank you so much. So